Niners looking to improve to 3-0 for the second time under Kyle Shanahan, and the second time since Mariucci did it way back when in 1998. Giants come in limping a little bit, rallying against the Cardinals 31-8 in the second half after being outscored 16-0 in the first 6 quarters of the season. Good morning to everybody out there getting off their graveyard shift. If you're at work, what is happening? If you're getting ready for work, what is happening? Be safe on those roadways. Teachers, cops, firefighters, you know the drill. Overnight dancers, what is happening? Shasky, we got the boss man taking calls for us tonight.
I'm getting texts from JC saying, tell Bonte, we ready.
I like
Every
that.
time people hear that, my boy Della hit me up first. He's like, dude, that gets me more fired up than anything.
Let's go,
That's
baby.
when I know it's a big sports day in the Bay.
So, Money Mo, Verducci, and the rest of you on hold. Stay on hold. We're going to get you because a lot of people talk about Brock Purdy. But we got to go to our main man. We haven't talked to him. Wow, we haven't talked to Evan Roberts from WFAN, afternoon host. He's been out there doing
Since
big things for a long time. James Harden, Kevin Durant
Bermuda
days.
Triangle
and
situation.
I follow him on Twitter. I feel bad for Evan, what he's had to go through. He's a Mets fan, a Jets fan, and a Brooklyn Nets fan. He's on the wrong side of New York City. I don't know what's going on. And we were talking about curses a week ago because Aaron Rodgers got hurt. I feel bad for him. The Mets spent all this money with Steve Cohen, tweet left and right. They become a dumpster fire. They sold everybody off. And then he's got the Brooklyn Nets, and he's, basically got Mikal Bridges and a bunch of who's.
I don't want to waste your time here, Evan, but I personally believe the Jets are cursed. That was ridiculous. 4 plays. 4 plays?
I mean, did you guys have to bring up everything in sports that stinks around the teams I root for? I mean, you went through everything. We got the Mets, we got the Durant debacle, we got the Aaron Rodgers thing, which I still can't believe.
Yeah, no.
I am still, dazed from 4 freaking snaps into this guy's Jet career that we got to go from the dream of Aaron Rodgers to the reality of Zach Wilson. Oh my God!
Oh my! Are you an Islanders fan? Because I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, we were the only love hockey team that didn't make the playoffs. It's been fire. Yes.
Oh man, we're gonna see Kevin Durant come back here to Chase Center when the NBA season starts October 24th because he's now in Phoenix. But talking about the New York Giants, because I know you work with Tiki Barber. You've been around the New York Giants fans. I can't stand the Giants. They've got a nice little history with the 49ers. Great classic playoff games that Niner fans have been on the wrong end of for a lot of the times. We're playing some of the highlights from back in the day. But Daniel Jones, Brian Daboll reconstructs him. He gets the big contract. How are Giants fans feeling about this quarterback? Because Niner fans don't believe it. There's a lot of Niner fans who say Purdy has to win the big one in order to capture them and in order to embrace them fully. How are Giants fans embracing Daniel Jones, who was a laughingstock for basically most of his career until last season?
So we are a roller coaster, our city. In the first game against Dallas, even though it was not all Daniel Jones' fault, he had no time to throw. They had the special teams debacle. Saquon had a ball go through his hands. So it wasn't Daniel's fault, but you know the drill. He was blamed. So I think coming out of the Dallas game, Daniel Jones was the $40 million boss. Why did we give this guy the money? What the hell's wrong with him? First half against Arizona, same thing. We all know how bad the Cardinals are, but that comeback he pulled in the second half against Arizona, which was really 90% him, has brought the Giant fan back to, hey, we got our franchise quarterback. He's underpaid at $40 million a year. So I think with quarterbacks in our town, we go back and forth on them. Unless there's Zach Wilson, we just know he stinks. But I think with Jones right now, the pendulum is back in a good place because, look, they saved their season on Sunday. As ugly as it was, a win is a win, and to come back from 21 down, 28-7, 20-0 at the half, and have Daniel Jones be the main reason for it, I think right now the Giant fan feels good about their quarterback. They don't feel good about a lot of other things around this team right now, but they do feel good about the quarterback and certainly the head coach.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask about the head coach. When I watch Daniel Jones, I've told this to B for a year now. He reminds me a lot of Alex Smith. I think a little better arm than Alex, better runner, smart. But, at times can look a little frozen in the pocket in terms of what he's seeing downfield. But I see a lot of positive qualities. But part why everybody loves Brian Daboll is what he's done with Daniel Jones. So give us a little something about Brian Daboll out here on the West Coast that maybe we wouldn't know other than he's propped up Daniel Jones.
In the second half of games last year, and you certainly saw it against Arizona, the Giants have become one of the best second half teams in the NFL. So the cliche, and maybe it's not, maybe it's the reality, is it second half adjustments. One of the big debates going on about the second half against Arizona was, did Brian Daboll take play calling away from Mike Kafka? And whether he did or didn't, here's what I know. The Giants changed their philosophy in the second half. And they said, we got to wing it with Daniel Jones. We've got to take shots down the field. We made moves in the offseason to bring in more speed. Because the Giants last year, and I think this is why we were so impressed with Brian Daboll, he not only fixed Daniel Jones, he did it with the worst receiving core in the NFL. Right. Like, pound for pound, the Giants' receiving core last year.
You had Richie James.
I mean, former Niner. We know all about him.
Right. So I think it was so impressive that he got so much out of him with so little. This year they went out and they added. You know, they draft a receiver like Jalen Hyatt. That's why first play, second half, they're taking shots down the field. So it looked like Brian Daboll either took the play calling away from Kafka or said, hey, coach, we're going to change what we're going to do. And either way, that looks good for this head coach. And he's gotten the most out of Daniel Jones. He's gotten the most out of this offense despite the lack of talent. And look, he's going to have to do that tonight because Saquon Barkley is the obvious. We all know he's out. How about this offensive line? Their left tackle, Andrew Thomas, is out. Ben Bredesen, who's actually played well at guard, he's out. They've already made changes after 1 week on their offensive line. They're going to have to somehow overperform without their star running back and an absolute makeshift offensive line. And I hear your team is good.
They're not bad. They're not bad. Evan Roberts, the king of sports radio out in New York City, WFAN, our brother station out there. And by the way, I heard some clown talking about you guys are going out of business. WFAN was the pioneer of sports radio, so I don't want to hear that crap. We can get to that at another time. But a lot of Niner fans, Evan, we're trying to say, hey, man, it's a short week. Thursday night football is usually sloppy. You know, these teams, this defense with weak Martindale and that defensive line, they can keep things interesting. How can the Giants keep this game close? Because a lot of Niner fans today are calling in or texting in saying, this is going to be a blowout. I'm not even excited about this football game. How do the Giants keep it close?
I think Giant fans feel the same way, by the way.
Really?
The Giant fan expects, we expect to get blown out because of what I mentioned with the offensive line. And also, this defense has been terrible. Like, outside of the final 3 drives against Arizona, they made Joshua Dobbs look amazing. They've gotten 0 pass rush. They're the only team in the NFL without a sack this season, and Wink Martindale's blitzing plenty, so he's trying to get to the quarterback. So, look, how do I talk myself and Giant fans and even you guys into how this game is close? You laid out number one. It's Thursday, and things are weird. Yeah. And if that's the number one way this game can be close, you already know we got a problem. Like, we're basically going to the well of, well, it's Thursday. It's a short week. It's the NFL. Things don't make sense. And all that's true. Like, it's the NFL. Things are crazy. Outside of that, they're going to have to get a pass rush, which they have not gotten this year. Kayvon Thibodeau's received a lot of criticism over the first 2 weeks. Top pick. He's done nothing. He hasn't sniffed the quarterback. I think that's clearly going to have to change. And something wacky's going to have to happen. Like, you go back to the first game against Dallas. That game flipped on a blocked field goal attempt that was returned for a touchdown. And then after that, Dallas absolutely kicked the Giants' ass. No question. But the game flipped on a wacky play. The Giants are going to need immediately something weird to have happen. And if that's the case, maybe we're all surprised. But I'm telling you right now, very few people in New York, Giant fans, think this game is close. They agree with you guys. They think this is going to be an ugly Thursday night and an early Thursday night where they can go to sleep at halftime.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess we hope that happens. But, you referenced Kayvon, and I know that he's had a struggling year. I like the selection by you guys because we saw him in Oregon. Right. I want to see him in this game. As a Niner fan, I don't get to watch him a lot. I want to see him. I want to see Daniel Jones. Who do you want to see from the 49ers? Like, who's that guy or guys that you're interested in getting an up-close look at?
Honestly, it's Brock Purdy because from afar, we see a guy that's never lost. And quite frankly, I don't count the NFC Championship game. They didn't lose that game. So I see a quarterback who is Mr. Irrelevant, who's never lost a game. Is it the players around him? Is it having Christian McCaffrey? Is it having Ayuk? Like, I'm just curious to watch him because, like, one thing Giant fans love to do, and I think all football fans do it, is we all love to rank quarterbacks.
Right.
So one of the debates around Daniel is, all right, they're paying him $40 million a year. Is he a top 10 quarterback? Is he a top 15 quarterback? And whenever we get to Brock, I feel like he's always disrespected. Like, I feel as if Giant fans and Jet fans say, well, look at the talent. That doesn't count. And my knee-jerk reaction is he hasn't lost.
Right.
Okay? He's doing something right. So I am curious Not that the Giants are going to test him. Not that the Giants are actually going to put pressure on him. But if they do, I think it'll make it more interesting. I'm just curious to watch the quarterback up close and personal and kind of get an idea of, okay, how good is he? Because this is a win league. All you got to do is win. And so far, he hasn't lost. And I take that. I take that for my quarterback any day of the week.
Well, you should have saw the Rams game where afterwards he overthrew 2 deep shots, and Niner fans like, oh my God, he can't hit the deep throw. That's going to cost us in January. So we got a sickness out here too, Evan. We're talking to Evan Roberts, New York City, WFAN afternoon host, the king of New York sports radio. I believe, man, he does a lot of great things out there. What's the impression of Kyle Shanahan from out there in the East Coast? Because we're in our own bubble. We think he's one of the best play callers in the NFL, even though we have our criticisms for him with the way he's handled the quarterback situation. Trey Lance, Jimmy, you name it. What's your impression of Kyle Shanahan?
I think our impression, we're very simple when we look outside our own bubble, and that's, do you win games? Are you in the playoffs every year? Obviously the quarterback situation's been bizarre from afar,
right.
The whole Trey Lance thing, but this is a win-loss league, and remember, we're in New York where we never win. Think about it. Other than the Giants' stunning year last year where no one expected them to make the playoffs, they did. They win a playoff game. We have watched a lot of horrific football over the last few years. We have watched a lot of horrific coaching over the last few years, whether it was Pat Shurmur or Adam Gase or Ben McAdoo or Joe Judge. The list goes on and on.
Jeez.
So from afar, we probably view him mostly as just a genius because he's won. Maybe not the ultimate win, but for us, making the playoffs is pretty cool because we don't experience it very often. So I think we look at him as a guy we would love coaching our teams. Maybe not Daboll because I think the Giant fans went on a honeymoon with him. 1 for 1. They made the playoffs. But certainly on the Jets side, Robert Saleh hasn't won a damn thing.
I like Robert Saleh, though. He was a good DC for us, you know?
Well,
Me and B are...
Guess what? I'm glad you love him as a DC. He's a head coach.
Yeah.
Coach, he's won freaking nothing.
I know.
Oh,
the
boy.
poor guy.
Poor Rob.
He was
We
so
knew
fired
it.
up in Hard Knocks. I
He
felt
was.
so bad. Look at our quarterback. He was talking to the defense. I said, damn.
Evan, he looked
I
so
felt
depressed
so
on Monday
bad.
Night Football.
Oh.
Before they even announced the
I felt
injury,
so bad.
he knew, my season's done.
I feel so bad. Evan, me and B we're San Franciscans, right? We're from this area. Our whole families live out here, but there's something about that New York lore, right? There's just something about the mystique, the movies, the culture, the conspiracy theories. Is Jimmy Hoffa, was he buried underneath the Meadowlands turf like everyone says? Do you believe that?
I'm convinced of it, yes. That's one of the lessons I've learned, and I just believe it. Now, is it true? Look, sometimes you don't need to know the truth. Sometimes a story's better than the truth. So if you ask me, my answer has always been absolutely.
Hey, Evan, a line we have out here from the Chapter 81 group, 2 can keep a secret if 1 is dead.
Wait, hold on. I got to think about this one again. Who can keep a
2
secret?
Two can keep a secret.
Yeah. Oh, I should make a T-shirt of that. I got to think.
Oh, there's plenty of them.
Yeah. Well, give us some your percentages there, man. Some royalties. We're working radio, man. We don't make a lot of money here. If you take that idea and run with it, anyway, man. Giants and Niners tonight. We got a lot to talk. We would talk baseball with you, but both our teams are depressing, so we won't bore you with that one. Evan, always good to us, man. Thanks for hopping on such short notice. We appreciate it. Enjoy the game tonight. Hopefully, it's a good game. Giants and Niners, man. A long history of great classics. We'll see about tonight, but should be fun while it lasts.
Hopefully, New Yorkers aren't going to sleep at halftime. That's cool.
I want you guys to be up at midnight saying, boy, we almost had him. All right, Evan, good stuff, man.
Have a good one. Thank you, guys.
You too. Evan Roberts, WFAN. We'll get right back to the phone lines here. He wants to watch Brock Purdy. He wants to watch Brock. And the boss man during the break was like,